Good afternoon. Welcome back to Tottenham on Tour's Christmas Advent Calendar. It is day number 21. Day number 21. It's been a long slug, hasn't it, Anaki? We are so tired.
Mate, like I said, listen, the way these have been recorded is we've only got Christmas Eve left to record. That's it. So this is 23 out of 24. And I never want to hear a Christmas cracker joke again. And if anyone says, do you want to come on and talk about 5 players again? I'm going to go, nope, I'm done for the year. And I mean 2024. It's been a lot of fun doing it with people, but a lot of hard work, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But we're joined by 2 amazingly dressed people. Brian and I like to be dressed really weirdly. And we're like, look at the 2 above us. Look at them.
That's effort. That's dedication.
Arsenal claws to the left. Tottenham claws to the right. He's not Arsenal claws. He's Welsh claws. Look at those jingly bells in his beard. What we're gonna do? But Aki, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good, mate. I'm doing good. It's been a long day, but I'm happy to be spending it with you 3. And I've not been in the best of moods today, but I just have to look above me. And if that doesn't put a smile on your face, the 2 people above you, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phil,
how are you?
Woo! How are you doing, buddy?
Mate, I'm on top of the world because by the magic of YouTube, this is my last day at work as this is being aired, or as you might be watching it if you're watching it on the 21st. It's my last day at work of the year. And also, this is my debut on the Advent calendar, even though I've actually recorded one with you boys already. So, yeah, I'm buzzing to be here. I'm buzzing to be in such illustrious company. I've been on a bit of a hiatus, but, you know, Christmas has come around and I haven't watched Die Hard yet. I've got my priorities in order. I'm back with my brothers on Tottenham on tour instead. So, couldn't be happier, mate. Merry Christmas to one and all.
Well, gonna give us some move.
Woo!
I need to tune it up a little.
I like that, woo. I like it. And Dave, how you doing, buddy? How you doing, Mr. David?
Yeah, I'm really well, man. I'm really well. You know, looking forward to Christmas. You know what I mean? Got everything done, sorted. Pick up the last bits of shopping tomorrow, and then sorted. Then I can relax, enjoy Christmas, drink me red wine, eat me food, and have a wicked day. So Merry Christmas to everyone.
There we go.
Great stuff. Who wins the Christmas outfit this week? We got 2 illustrious outfits.
I'm giving it to Phil. I've got the red on. He's got the Spurs on. He deserves it.
Well, look, I was going to say, Dave, you have to take it. Showing up on a Spurs stream in red takes some guts, but obviously it's nothing to do with other football teams other than your homeland of Wales, obviously.
Yeah,
I've all had with this. If you 2 are wearing the Christmas attire trousers, you're full kit wankers.
You are.
Unfortunately, mate, I'm just wearing some tracky bottoms, so I can't help you there.
I've got bold pajama bottoms on, so they're black.
Okay, so there you go.
It is the Tottenham on Tour Christmas Advent Calendar, which means one thing only: Christmas cracker jokes. And we're always going to start with the guest. Phil P, what is your Christmas cracker joke?
Well, in honor of your namesake, Ben from the mothership on Weird Tottenham TV, I've got a bit of a Woolwich spin on this one.
Go on.
At the ready, everyone. What do you get if you put a bell on a certain manager who manages a team down the road who looks like Captain Black?
A bellend?
No, well, that's one answer.
A jingle bell end.
It's good, but it's not right.
It's catchphrase, a jingle bell end.
Jingle smells.
Ah, nice.
The Jingle Bell End actually is better, so let's go with that.
David,
Any
what's
Arsenal jokes are good jokes. Phil.
week?
Yeah, well, hopefully this time on this one, I don't tell jokes that everyone's already said, but I'll give it my best shot. What's the absolute best Christmas present?
I think Ben's done this one. A
Oh, has
drum.
he?
A drum.
Oh, yeah, yes.
You
Oh,
just can't beat it.
no, that's it, yeah. I got one more.
Come on, let's do it.
Right. What reindeer game do reindeers play at sleepovers?
Okay, that we haven't heard.
Ooh, no, we haven't.
Truth or dare?
Very good. Very, very good. Well, mine yesterday was awful. Awful. So, why did Mary and Joseph have to go to Bethlehem?
I don't know. Why did Mary and Joseph have to go to Bethlehem?
Because they couldn't book a home delivery.
I like that one.
I like that one. I actually am
I
proud
like
of
that one, yeah.
And finally, what goes ho ho whoosh? Ho ho whoosh.
I don't know, Ben. What goes ho ho whoosh?
Santa going through a revolving door.
I like that one, yeah. That was a good one,
very
man.
good. That is very,
good.
very, very, very good. I actually like all of the jokes today.
Yeah.
I
They're all good
think that we've
jokes.
had 4 jokes. But talking of 4 jokes, let's move on. Let's move on to the players. And this player may not have been a joke, but signing him was. We're going to start with Mbolo Mabizela. I mean, it's so bad. It's so bad. The picture is distorted, and he's probably saying, "No, no, no, get me out of here."
Yeah.
Ben, do you remember him? It's how we start everyone.
I went to my cousin Myra's house because they were big Leicester fans, and we went there for the family dinner. And because they were Leicester fans, they had the game on. And I remember being a kid and seeing Mbelelo Mabuzela smashing that ball into the top corner, and everyone just going, "Who the hell is he?" Yep. So Mbelelo Mabuzela made a very, very awkward family outing, a very good one, and even more awkward at the same time because all the Tottenham boys at that family party erupted into absolute mayhem. So Mbelelo, big up, mate. We'll go to David. What do you remember about Mbelelo Mabuzela?
Well, I've got an incredible, incredible story. I didn't even know he existed, mate. To be fair, I don't know him. All I know, I've read on Wiki, that he was with us for 2 years. He played 7 games and scored 1 goal. Yeah, that is it. There is your analysis of what I know about him. I did not know he existed, mate.
Wikipedia really got it spot on there, basically, didn't they?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Literally, even on there, it just says, you know what I mean? Like, he had a debut against Leicester as a substitute, scored a goal, and then other than that, it's just literally we cancelled his contract. There you go.
Yeah,
illustrious story.
Illustrious.
What do you remember of Mbelelo Mabuzela?
I mean, it was a good goal. The thing is, obviously, doing my research a bit like Dave, it sounds like, he was a bit of a trouble geezer. I think, he doesn't look back. You think he's got a few regrets about his time at Spurs, and that's a tough thing for a young lad. But it just sums it up. It's typical Spurs, same old Spurs, that we play a pre-season game against the South African side, see a young lad, think he's mustard, let's sign him, and he plays 7 games, gets 1 goal, and we cancel his contract. Man, you do it, and it turns out to be Ronaldo, probably in the top 5 best footballers of all time. So, only at Spurs could we get, P7 rather than CR7. So,
yeah, I was just about to say, man, you go to Sporting Lisbon, Ronaldo does his business, and the whole team are like, go get him, and Ferguson has a word. We go to South Africa and pick up Umbo Mabizela. I mean, I would have rathered. I wish we could have done Stephen Pienaar, but his number doesn't fit into here because I love that man. But yeah,
And we love him even more because he chose Spurs over
them lot.
them.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
But
great
that's
taste as well.
what I can't. There's nothing I can say about him that you guys haven't said. It's like literally, it just goes to show. In 2003, 2 years into the stewardship of a certain person, this was the caliber of players we were buying. So when people ask why the way I am, look no further than the quality of Mabi Zayla at our football club. I mean that's all I can say about him. Yeah, moving on to him, to someone who, one of the greatest things about this man is this man's love for scoring a goal against the filth. Ben, Jermaine Genius.
I really like Jermaine Genius as a footballer. More known for wearing the number 8 shirt for most of his years at Tottenham. He was a great player for us. He was a real driving force through that Tottenham side for many, many years under Harry Redknapp, under Martin Jol, very good under Ramos as well. He was just a stalwart in that midfield. And he probably could have played more games if it weren't for his injuries, which is a real shame. But League Cup final in 2008, he's won a trophy with Tottenham. Not many players can say they won a trophy with Tottenham, and he is one of those guys. But the thing that really reminds me of Jermaine Genius was actually the Lucas Moura moment. And that moment showed how much he absolutely adored. And not just adored, he loved Tottenham. Whilst the commentator was going absolutely ballistic, Jermaine Genius was weeping like he was a Tottenham fan. You could hear it in his voice, how his voice was vibrating. And that just shows how much I like Jermaine Genius, because he was one of us. Like he was every single Tottenham fan hiding behind the sofa thinking we weren't going to go at the Champions League final. And then he cried, like most of us did when we got to that final. So a massive big up to JJ. It's just a great football player, many, many years, great servant for the club. And can't say anything more about him, really. He's a top bloke, top geezer.
Top geezer. Okay, Dave.
Yeah, like Ben said, you know what I mean? That moment with Ajax game was just unreal, weren't it? You know, you could just hear his gasping in the background on the commentary and stuff like that. It was just fantastic. His career at Spurs, I think, was, I would say, successful. Do you know what I mean? He had a great career with us. I mean, he gave us some great moments. I mean, I think he scored a goal against the Scum, didn't he?
Just
one
point.
Yeah, that's, you know what I mean? No, I remember one, it was an absolute screamer of a goal, like, you know what I mean? And I can't remember what game it was, whatever. But yeah, I think he had a great career. Do you know what I mean? And like Ben said, he's a really nice bloke. Don't get me wrong, there's been some questionable times as a pundit where I've, you know what I mean, not been kind to him in certain aspects. Do you know what I mean? But it is what it is. Overall, I think he had a really decent career with us and gave us some fantastic times. Do you know what I mean? And he was really, really integral to our team at the time. You know, he's one of them players that fit us. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, so that's about it, really. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Phil P.
I've got two, maybe a bit like one of the shows he's on BBC. I've got two good, two bad. I think, well, maybe more than two actually. We'll go three good, one bad. The goal, I remember being away. We were down with mates in Cornwall, and I was watching the North London derby, miles from home in Charlestown, right by the dock. Lovely part of the world, but not where I wanted to be, which is White Hart Lane. And I think the filth for smashing us up a bit. And I think he got a goal from about 30 yards with the outside of his boot, nestled in the corner along the deck. And there was absolute pandemonium, one-man pandemonium in a pub in Charlestown. So that was decent. And to be fair, Redknapp's first proper game in charge away at the Empty Crate when we were losing, was it 4-1 at the time? And
4-1,
he dispossessed a gooner and basically went on a great run and bent it with his left foot into the side netting from outside the box. And as soon as he scored that, I was like, we're getting something in. We're getting something out of this. And we did. And yeah, and look, I think, like you guys have all said, you know, his commentary, you know, co-commentary will always be remembered for that Ajax semi. But I actually love all of his commentary because I don't know if you guys and girls watching find this as well, but he is like kryptonite to Gooners. Gooners cannot stand JJ on the box. And it always kicks off. Whenever he's on, I'm getting messages going, this clown of yours, what's he saying? What's he doing? And I said, he's brilliant. Leave him alone. Let him cook. So God bless JJ. Keep it up, big man. But yeah, look, the only downside, and it's not really a downside because, like you guys have said, you know, I think we all look back fondly on his career. But I just think the promise that he showed early on in his career and why we signed him, you know, great engine, could finish, could pass, was aggressive. I just thought he had all. And a lot of it was injuries, as you said, Ben, but I just feel that he could have been, you know, he could have been an even better player for us. But look, we'll always look fondly upon his time. And to be fair, that was an era when he came in, when we were trying to sign good British talent. And, you know, more for me, I actually liked how Spurs were operating, and I thought we were going in the right direction. You know, under Yarl, things were going the right way, but we all know how it ended. So, you know, sooner or later we'll all get on the Levy out bus. But you know, that's for another time. Maybe a show in a few days' time we'll have another discussion about this.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, first of all, I've got to say the first memory I have of JJ is when I lived in Israel in the Bali Underground in Eilat, and he scored that free kick against United. That free kick was a
great free kick.
That was like the epitome of the perfect free kick. I think it was Van der Sar in goal, and he didn't even move. He didn't even bother to attempt to go for it. You mentioned that Arsenal goal. I think two other Arsenal goals were better, which was his goal in the 5-1.
Yep, I agree.
The first goal in the first minute where he just got the ball, ran off the pitch, hit the post, bounced back. That was wonderful for that 5-1. But I love his goal in the 4-3. I love his curler in the 4-3. Like you said, Phil, he is kryptonite. And if any Arsenal fan...
4-4, you mean?
Yeah, but he scored the third to make it 4-4. But if anyone wants to talk, if any Arsenal fan wants to talk about crypto, like how crappy he is on it, I'll give you Exhibit A, which is Alan Smith. I'll give you Exhibit B, which is Martin Keown. Enough said. Alan Smith, I don't know how many...
Wait, you're not going to go for Exhibit 3? Paul Merson.
Oh, he doesn't... He's in the studio. He's not really doing the punditry, is he? He's normally in the... Yeah. But honestly, when Alan Smith is on, I don't know why we have it that every time Spurs are on, there's an Arsenal person commentating. I will say, though, big up to Ian Wright. Ian Wright is going to be a big miss to a certain show. And he is a character that calls it as it is. But Alan Smith is just the most... And do you know who Alan Smith's daughter is marrying?
Who?
Daniel Levy's son.
You're joking.
No. I've got a friend that went to drama school with Alan Smith's daughter. I've got a picture. He proposed on Christmas Eve at Alan Smith's house as a nice Jewish guy in a Christmas onesie. There you go, letting out Levy family secrets. Back to Genus. I was saying with Dave though, this guy, if I was to say one person that I never thought would make it as a TV presenter or person, this guy is on everything.
Yeah,
he's on show. When I came back and I saw him on the one show, I was like, "Well, what is this? Is he a guest?" No. When I watched the World Cup draw for Qatar, up he pops. Well, just anywhere you turn on the TV,
that really got to the Gooners. The fact that he was doing the World Cup draw. What's he doing there? Who is he?
But I love him as a pundit. I love him.
He's a great pundit.
I really do. I actually think he's a better pundit than he was footballer. In all honesty, by the end, I'm completely with Phil. Where
you're out of order, Daigle. You're out of order.
No, but I think you know what it is. At the start, he had all the promise in the world,
Yeah.
And by the end, he adopted the normal Tottenham English midfielder, which is let's just pass it sideways, sideways, backwards, backwards. But
Yeah.
would always get you a goal when you needed
Against
one.
Arsenal as well.
Oh, mate, which is
Listen,
why
he was a big game player as well. I
He
think
was.
he really took it up a notch when it was a big game, which is why he got so many goals against the Scum.
Yep. And the final thing to say on him, as Ben and I have alluded to with everything we said, this man won a trophy at the club. So he's part of an elite club. So fair play to him. And now we're going to move on to a bit of a cult hero. Now, do you know what? What's that coming over the hill?
He also
Is
won
it
a league.
Chimbonda? Is it Chimbonda?
I love that song. I fucking love.
You forgot that Chimbonda also won a League Cup.
He came in 2009.
He won the League Cup.
Yeah.
Okay, well, transfermarket.com are giving misleading information.
Well, they're
My
washed.
apologies.
They're washed, mate. Don't worry about. Maybe we signed him back. Listen, he was
Yes,
brilliant. I loved
He
it.
played centre back in that game.
Yeah, he started in the 2008 final. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, okay, he's part of the elusive
He
club.
got
In
subbed off.
2006, Ryan. He was there.
He got subbed off and threw
My
a
bad.
hissy fit and stormed
Yeah.
down the tunnel. And then the next time
That's
you
right.
saw him was giving it the away with the cup on his
Right,
head.
that's right. That's right. Ben, what do you remember?
I remember his great song. I don't really. He was a utility player for Tottenham. He's sort of a player that played in many different positions for us. He never really locked one down. Unfortunately for him, we got a man that you talked about when you spoke about Robbie Keane, Aki, and that was Alan Hutton came into the side. And Alan Hutton locked down that position under Quando because he gave us a bit more of that aggressive right back. So unfortunately, Chimbonda lost his place very quickly, which is why he only spent 2 years at the club, which is it's a shame, really. But it's another one of that elite football club, elite club of winning a trophy, and we got to respect him. The only story that I have is my mum was down in the nail salon in Loughton High Road. I can't remember what it was called.
Please tell me this ends with Pascal Chimbonda was getting his nails done.
Yes. And my mum was talking to this random guy next to her, my poor mother. And she was talking to this guy for ages about football, because my mum loves talking about football. And she said, "Oh, do you play a bit of football?" And he said, "Yeah, I play a bit of football." And he said, "Oh, what's your name?" And he said, "Oh, Pascal Chimbonda."
Well, we're letting all the secrets out
Like,
now.
"Oh."
Pascal Chimbonda gets manicures. I have had a pedicure, which was damn good, I must admit.
So he used to get his nails painted. To big up the Pascal Chimbonda.
Big up, Dave. Can you be sitting next to Pascal Chimbonda getting his nails done?
Oh, 100%. I'd go for the manicure any day of the week, mate. Do you know what I mean? Get them nails painted and that. Why not? Hey, we're in a different world now, aren't we? So, hey, anything goes nowadays, doesn't it? But yeah, with Chimbonda, I mean, you know, like I said, he weren't one that stood out majorly throughout the players we've had in our history. But the one thing I do remember, and I don't know if you guys do, but under Martin Yole, when he slapped Nicky Butt with his glove.
Yeah,
I remember him
in the Newcastle game.
I remember him with his gloves doing something. I just couldn't remember when or who with.
Yeah. It was. I think it was in Martin Yole. I think around about 2007. I think it was. He slapped Nicky Butt with his glove, and it caused a little bit of a fight between Spurs and Newcastle back in the day, But yeah, overall, I thought he was an okay player. You know what I mean? He had his moments, and he was a bit of a workhorse for me. How I'd say he's a bit like a modern day player for us right now. I'd say more like a Højbjerg. You know what I mean? He was one of them type of players. He'd do the dirty work, and overall, he kind of he didn't stand out in a game, but yeah, he was an okay player. I liked him, and like I said, the song for him. I mean, you can't beat it, can you? It's wicked.
Yeah.
We do have some great songs. We do have some great songs. Phil, what do you remember about the man coming over the hill?
I just love that tune, like the lads have said. I remember singing it wholeheartedly any game that I went during that era. I thought he did. Unlike Ben, I seem to remember that he was. I know there was that he basically played most of the time as fullback, and he was doing okay. You know, he was good, but you know, and actually, Brian, I've done a bit of fact checking, which is very unlike me. He did re-sign, so he went to Sunderland, and then he came back in 2009. So
there you go. Thank you, Phil. For
transfer market can come back into the room now.
Yeah.
You're not mudded. Get out of the mud, transfer market. Yeah, look, hilarious. My favourite memory is that League Cup final. You know, the pure, like, just a poor schoolboy element of storming off down the tunnel. You know, stuff this. I'm not hanging around here. You've taken me off in a cup final. I've had it with you lot. And then as soon as we win it, he's back on the pitch giving it the old ole, 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 ole. It's unbelievable. I love it. I love it.
He scored a great goal in remember the 125th anniversary of Tottenham Hotspur against Aston Villa.
That's one of my favourite.
He scored a great goal in that game to get us back.
Yeah, that was lovely.
I would say with that game, I cannot remember a damn thing about it because I was off my tits in a pub in Tel Aviv. Absolutely spanked like an all-day bender. So I remember that game. I remember I remember Kabul getting the equaliser. That's about it. That's all I remember. Kabul getting the equaliser. I think I celebrated with a pint for every year. That was our 125th year. I think I've been on a little bender to celebrate the great achievement. I love Shimbonda. I loved him. I thought he was such an attacking player. And you got to remember, we bought him from the lofty Wigan. And you got to remember, we when you look at our buying record at Wigan, Wilson Palacios, which I think was good. Or actually, Wilson Palacios, I think, was superb.
Yeah.
Pascal Shimbonda, and the third in the trilogy, and the best of the lot, my boy Alfie. But Pascal Shimbonda, I loved him. I loved him. Yes, he could throw a temper tantrum, but he was an attacking fullback that would give everything for the club. And like Phil said, if he was in a mood, he'd let you know. Listen, the next player, the fourth of five, I love this man. I love this man. There were two players at Portsmouth, which women will say were good-looking guys, that I wanted to see in a Spurs shirt. One was Patrick Berger, who I fucking loved after Euro 96. And the other is this man. Harry Redknapp's favourite, Nico Cranshaw. Ben, take it away.
He was a great player for us. He was a brilliant player for us. He came in with Harry and the boys, Crouchy, Defoe, Cranshaw. He was a solid player. He came into that team and just did the business. I can't even remember how long Cranshaw was at the club, but I can't even remember him having that bad of a game. He was just a solid player. He was part of that team that beat AC Milan and it was just played superbly that night. And it was a great time to be a Spurs fan. I still love that kit with the yellow sash in it. It was an absolutely great time. Harry came in. We were playing brilliant football. And he was pivotal to that type thing, playing on that left wing. But unfortunately for Nico Cranshaw, I don't think he ever saw a man like Gareth Bale coming out of the woodwork. Yeah. And unfortunately, that was the end of Nico Cranshaw, because you couldn't really complain if Gareth Bale dispossessed you out of the team, because that was prime Bale. Absolute blitzing down the wing and sticking it in the back of the net is what he did every week. Inter Milan found that out very, very certainly. But
I have to say, Ben, with it being a Christmas advent calendar, you should have said Blitzen down the wing.
Yeah, Blitzen, yeah. Blitzen.
And up the league. He blazed it up the league.
But in that team, Cranshaw down the left, Pienaar down the right against AC Milan. Aaron Lennon eventually came on. What a time to be alive.
Correct. Phil, buddy. Nico Cranshaw.
Mate, the biggest accolade I could say is he was as technical and beautiful as a footballer as he was in terms of his bone structure. Lovely looking lad. I think Redders signed him so much because he was probably the only bloke at the time that was better looking than Jamie. So I think he used to wind Jamie up like, this is the son I could have had. I bet Louise wishes that she'd married him instead. Great hair, a bit of swagger. Yeah, just You know when you see a player and it fits a club like a glove.
Yep.
Like an absolute glove. This guy is a typical Tottenham player. Proper Spurs, great lad, technician, absolute football technician. Lot of fond memories. Love the bloke. He'd always be welcome back down the lane in my eyes.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Dave,
big love. If you're watching, Nico, big love, mate.
That's yeah, same as everyone said. I mean, you couldn't speak bad of the guy. Do you know what I mean? He just had flair about him as well, didn't he? When he got the ball, he just looked wonderful on it. And I think I said to you, Brian, before, didn't I? He was like our Jack Grealish. Do you know what I mean? The long hair, the good looks. Do you know what I mean? The flair on the ball. And it was a shame that Bale came up when he did, because, you know what I mean? He kind of just took Nico out of the team, like. But then when he came on as a sub, he scored a couple of last-minute winners for us. Do you know what I mean?
you're taking away my thing, for fuck's sake.
Oh, sorry, I didn't.
That's all right, brother. That's all
Yeah.
right.
Sorry, I do apologize. I'll go on to the goal I like the most from Nico, right? And it weren't like an amazing goal or anything like that, but it was a good one. Was our 9-1 win against Wigan, I think it was.
Yeah.
And he scored the goal there, and I think Defoe got 5, didn't he, in that game, which was unbelievable. But I remember that one because obviously the scoreline and that. But for me, Nico was just a wonderful player, and like Phil said, you know what I mean? Bring him back, you know what I mean? Get him in the stadium, you know, because he's just a wonderful bloke.
He is, and I don't know if anyone knew this, but he used to be really reliable for a 90th minute winner.
Yeah,
Don't know if you heard that. No, but I always
never heard that. I've never heard
mate,
that.
do you know how many times I think out of those goals that he had scored, I can remember a lot of them being watching Soccer Saturday with Jeff Sterling and everything, and then hearing them say, "Let's go over to White Hart Lane. There's been a last minute goal," and you could put money on it being Nico Crancher. Like the one he scored against Bolton when we were near the top of the league was incredible. I remember one where he scored when we beat Man City 3-1. This is before they became money bags. I love this player. I wish we had got him sooner. Listen, at that time, there were Croatians coming left, right, and centre. This is before Croatia became the powerhouse that they are now. He was wonderful. I wish he had been. I wish he hadn't gone to Portsmouth. He'd been at Tottenham the whole time. I love that man so much. And we talk about good songs. I mean, I found it hard to think that you could beat a song. I never in my days, in my life, think we would get a song for Agadoo for a player like Ericsson. If someone had said to me, we'll be singing ABBA as a song, I would have said not a chance. But my God, whoever makes the songs up about Dejan Kulusevski, fair play. And Ben, off you go.
he really frustrates me, Dejan Kulusevski, but there is such a good player in there. He is so strong on the ball. He's very difficult to get off. And he's an absolute train. I think he's going to be a top player for us for many, many years, just because of his attitude, his skill. We haven't really found his best position yet. Although he's mostly playing on the right, I think he is very much limited on that right-hand side. And it does frustrate me, him getting the ball, running down the wing and immediately cutting in on his left foot, because he's got a traction engine on a right foot. And we saw it the other day against, I can't remember who we played the other day, but he hit a massive, great shot. And it hit the butt. It was saved really well. He has got a foot-like attraction engine. He can hit with both feet. So I don't know why he's not crossing, but played very well at Juventus as a second striker for many years before Chiesa came in, and that's why he lost his place on the team. But I like Kule. I think he's a great player, and I hope to see him for many, many years. Hopefully we can find the best position for him, and hopefully he's here for many, many years.
Who are you going to?
Let's go to David.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I love Kulu. I think he's a wonderful player. Like you said, Ben, he's limited on the right. Seeing him in midfield is like a new player there. Do you know what I mean? He has been absolutely fantastic. And under Ange at the moment, he seems to have just really, really found himself. You know what I mean? And his run, I think he's got the best running stats out of anyone in the Prem. And I mean, he's not even a fast player, but he just doesn't stop. And for me, he's vital for us at the moment. You know what I mean? Against Chelsea, when we went down to 9, he was constantly running. He was still there. Yes, we lost the game, but he didn't stop. And again, against Forest, went down to 10, and it was Kulu again, just non-stop.
Luton as
running.
well. Luton as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, for the teammate. And I think he really genuinely loves Tottenham. Do you know what I mean? And he's the type of player that, like you said, you want to see for many, many years because he's still so young. I think he's, what, 23?
Yeah.
Something like that. We've got many years of Kulu, and he's only going to get better. And I can't remember who it was when we signed him, said he's got such an incredible footballing brain. And you see it on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? Some of the skills he could do. I remember one. I can't remember who it was against, but he was on the wing, right next to the line, and he just pulls the ball back a little and flicks it. And he's literally took out 2 players, and they were dead in the water. Do you know what I mean? He was gone. And yeah, for me, Kulu. I said it the other day, like after I think it was the Forest game. I said Kulu for me at the moment's been our best player this season. Just because of his work rate, what he's done, everything like that. I mean, I know Vicario's done well, and Adogi and players like that. Madison's been incredible, but Kulu's been an engine for us. He's the one who's dragging this team to where we're going at the moment. And yeah, I can't speak highly enough for him. Kulu is unbelievable, and his song is absolutely amazing.
Yep. And I know when it comes to Phil, Phil's got quite a bit to say. He's smiling like a good one. Go on, Phil.
Listen, mate, on behalf of the Kulu Defence League, I'm here to let everyone know exactly what time it is. It's Kulu time, right? He is shutting doubters up at a rate of knots, and God bless him. Listen, I understand why he was getting a bit of slack. And, you know, it's a bit like, just to bring one of our other favourite sons into it, excuse the pun, my dad loves Sonny. Sonny is my dad's favourite player at the moment, and he loves him, and he's always backing him. And I sometimes get frustrated with Sonny, but I say to my dad, it's not because I don't like him. I love him. But for me, he's got every single attribute you could want. Unbelievable finisher, great pace, got a trick, loves the club. So all these things that you were saying, Dave, about Kulu, you know, I think is true of Sonny, but I think that's why people are getting on Kulu's back, because to borrow one from Micah Richards, he burst onto the scene when we first got him from Juventus, and maybe like he's doing now, it was probably, you know, if he had arrived a few weeks earlier, Daigle, it might have saved you a few early mornings up at the training ground. So thanks, Levy. But I mean, look, we all sing about Bentancur, that he's the reason we played on Wednesdays last season. But really, I think Kulu had a massive part to play in that. You know, the assists, the goals he got. The guy was a live wire. Last season, I think the injury just came at the wrong time. And being a hamstring, I don't know how much it hampered him. And I just think people saw how good he was. But then last season, he flattered to deceive massively, and he never recaptured that form. So clearly, I understand why people are doubting him. But, you know, he's got the lot. The only reason, right, I think he's at Spurs is that he's a yard or two short pace. If he had electric pace, we wouldn't have him. It's as simple as that. You know, the balance, the poise, the aggression. He holds, you know, his hold-up play. And weirdly, and look, this is way, way over the top, right? And I'm not comparing him to this player at all, only in so much as this guy operated from wide on the left, and we all know what he was all about and what he achieved in his career. Kulu would do well if he got 10% of what he did in his career. But in the same way as Zidane dominated games for years, especially when he went to Madrid, from wide on the left, you know, Kulu basically, when he's on form, does that from wide on the right. Now, clearly last few games because of Madders being injured and then the Celso having his usual issues, he's played in a 10, and we've all sort of seen a different dimension to him. So, and in his post-match after the Forest game, he talked about it. He will go anywhere the team needs him, and he can do it because of his football brain, like you said, Dave. And look, the guy's great. I just wish he would sometimes have a bit more end product when he is. I think he should hit the byline a bit more, and try and get some early crosses in. There was a few times, even in the Newcastle game, where he got the ball, and if he just put it in first time, even with his swinger, I think we'd have done even better than we did. And I know we're being greedy with 4-1, but look, I think he's starting to show he's recapturing where he was when he first came in January. Long may it continue. Big up Kulu. The dogs love Kulu.
Seal of approval.
Exactly, the bark of approval. Even Jarvis, the cockapoo, loves Kulu. What I should have brought, and I'll bring it next time I'm on stream. I went to see ABBA Voyage. Shout out ABBA in London a few months back, and I bought a gimme T-shirt, but I forgot to bring it on today. So we'll save that for another time. But I will wear it. Maybe I'll wear it on Saturday, Ben. To big lips underneath my.
I want to see your outfit. I want that outfit on Saturday.
But yeah, I
might wear some pants though, Ben. I might wear pants.
I have to say, there's two Dejans. There's Dejan Kulusevski and there's Dejan Predictabilisky, as I have nicknamed him. Predictabilisky. Listen, I'm gonna do Predictabilisky at the beginning, Phil. The only reason I get so annoyed with him with that is because he is so wasted on the right. I know why we play him there. I know what we do, but I keep using one instant as an example. When we beat Man City 3-2 in his first season, he scored the first goal and Kane had the wonder game. That cross for Harry Kane, he got the ball, didn't think, got it in, bang, goal. There are so many times this season where he's in exactly the same position and he just doesn't know what to do. And then he ends up cutting in, and then we know what's happening. And I look at that and think, is that because there isn't a Harry Kane there that he doesn't feel confident in crossing? Is it his confidence? Is it the way Andrew's telling him to play? But on his day, this man, the first season, you got to remember, Son was playing injury-free and was on golden boot form. Harry Kane was on form and doing Harry Kane stuff. And Dejan came in and was on fire. So the three of them together, when you put those three on fire, you're on to success already. And then obviously Son got his injury last season. Kane was digging us out of absolutely everything, and no one. So this season, I started quite critical of Kulu. I started quite critical of him, but you saw the stats. Like you said, he'll do anything for this team. He will run and he will run. He will run. And people have got to remember, people were saying he weren't taking on his last man. He weren't doing what he was doing. He was doing that from right back most of the season. Starting deeper and doing it for his hold-up play. Look at the Luton game, where I'm convinced they would have got a point if it hadn't been for his hold-up play.
Agreed.
Magnificent. But I've wanted to see him in the centre. And I don't know if you can say, thankfully, because of Maddison's injury and thankfully because of the Celso not being able to do it, seeing him in the middle has unleashed a new life in him. And you just had to look, the Forest game, he ran his heart out. I'll give you the primary, like I said, Phil, at the beginning with what he did for Harry Kane. Look what he did for Richarlison against Forest.
Yeah. Brilliant.
That cross was an arrow. It was a heat seeker to find Richarlison's head. Yeah. And that's what he's capable of. And I think he's brilliant. I think his work rate gets heavily overlooked because he's doing it a lot deeper than he is forward. And I think he has got to be central. But I think he's at Tottenham for a long time. And he will, when we do this advent calendar next year or the year after, but in different formats, he will be in that elusive club of having a medal under Ange. And what a way to end it, talking about Spurs hopefully winning a medal, Ben.
Absolutely. We want to see medals getting won. But Mr. David, where can we find you, buddy?
You can find me over on Twitter. I'm Rodrigo Roadman. If you want to see bad takes in the middle of games where I'm getting frustrated and annoyed and chat absolute rubbish, then that's where you can find me. Other than that, you can find me on this absolutely incredible channel, Tottenham on Tour, full of amazing people. And yeah, so there you go.
Mr. Phil P, where can we find you, buddy?
Mainly, I will be roaming wild, shouting and screaming for the great club that we all support and love. in block 258. Shout out block 258, just underneath the
Right.
big screen in the Park Lane, in the southwest corner. So if you see me, say hello. And yeah, look, all I would say is check out some of Ric Flair's classic games, classic matches, wrestling matches, that is, on YouTube. Always worth a watch. And you'll see some Phil-style celebrations from the great man, the originator and still the best. But yeah, look, I'd just say big up to the Tottenham on Tour crew, the world famous home of you know what.
Levy out. You can't say that sentence and not complete it. My wife has been saying that I'm gathering a few OCDs, and that is one of them. You can't say that and then not finish the sentence.
Absolutely.
So yes, listen, everyone, thank you for joining. Ben will give a shout out to where you can find him on the Coffee Company. Obviously, he's here. Thank you to you two for coming. You've been great supporters of the channel, and you'll be seeing a lot more of them in 2024. We will be back with Angel Management, Cockerel Doodle Doo, and in a few days there won't be any more Advent Calendar. But we are doing a Christmas Day special, which we're looking forward to, Christmas morning. So keep your eyes on Tottenham on Tour. Thank you, everyone, for their support. Ben, where can people find you when you're not here?
Yeah, absolutely. Coffee Company every day. Mental health streams, being nice to each other, movies, everything under the sun. Get us over to the Coffee Company. Good coffee, good chat. Phil P loves the hot chocolate, so you can get anything there. It's all that time. It's just a nice place to be. So catch us over at the Coffee Company. But from everyone over at Tottenham on Tour, we wish you a wonderful Christmas season. Have a few drinks, eat properly, have a good time, spend it with your family, have a good time, be good people. Thank you all so much for watching, and come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Woo!
I can't say it. I can't say it.